while you personally may not be, everybody else seems really mad already at Spider-Man No Way Home, which is weird considering how much positive attention the trailer actually received. Now, just looking at the IGN trailer alone, the like ratio to dislike, it's crazy. Now, not that this always means anything, but it's 198,000 likes to 2.3 thousand dislikes. But everything I see online about the trailer really is people sort of building up what their version of this movie is ahead of time and already getting annoyed at what they're seeing on screen. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I know this will involve some generalizations, but that is really the only way to have a discussion like this unless you want a 24/7 documentary on every tweet, Facebook post, and YouTube comments surrounding this movie, which is impossible. But I'm going to give my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home so far. I'm sure that when the movie comes out, this will be a very outdated video, but it's a fun time capsule. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. I appreciate you very much. Spider-Man No Way Home, to me, already is off to a good start, believe it or not. One thing I've been noticing with a lot of people online is that there is a personal buildup of what they want this movie to be, and I get that, actually. I would say that I know a lot of people are pointing fingers at fans and saying, well, fans shouldn't expect Matt Murdock, or fans shouldn't have expected Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield ahead of time before any sort of leaks or anything like that. Fans should not have expected any sort of multiversal reveal, which, by the way, we will talk about some of the things that were revealed in this trailer here, just in case you needed another warning or something. But I think that a lot of this comes down to Marvel and Sony. Now, this trailer was a long time coming. I understand that Marvel has to promote Shang-Chi and the Eternals, but I'm going to be real with you. No one cares about them comparatively in size compared to Spider-Man. You know, this is like one of the biggest things that they make is Spider-Man. So this was something that fans were waiting for a long time. And when you make people wait for a long time for something, they generally start to build up in their heads what they want it to be. I know this is an issue that I already have with something like 007, No Time to Die. Now, while my hype has really worn off for the movie because of all the delays, I know that there's certain things that I really want out of the movie that I might be a little disappointed if I don't see. I'm going to go in with an open mind and stuff, but I think it's very easy to build that up over time when you're constantly told, check back later, wait, we'll show you something in a year. With Spider-Man No Way Home, though, the fan expectations seem to be through the roof. There are a lot of things that are not shown in this trailer, one of which is Matt Murdock from the Netflix Daredevil series, but people are very, very convinced that Charlie Cox will be back in that role in the movie. I'm not convinced either way. I really hope he is. You know, I would love to see that, but it's not something I'm going into the movie expecting to see until it's either revealed or I see the movie. You know, maybe it'll show up in trailer 2 or I see the film. There's a lot of stuff like that, you know, and we are getting more and more hints towards the multiverse, obviously, and this tying in especially with Doctor Strange 2, but I'm not so sure that we're going to see everything that people want to see. That's how these movies generally work. So I think that with this movie, for me personally, I'm very interested in it. I actually come at it from, I guess, a little bit of a unique perspective in the Spider-Man fandom, in that I'm much older than a lot of the MCU fans are. I am in my late 20s. I'm not saying others aren't, but I think a lot of fans of the MCU are early 20s to late teens. And I think that because of that, they didn't grow up with the same version of Spider-Man that I did. I actually grew up with the previous two Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So for me, going into Tom Holland's movies, I was very skeptical of rebooting Spider-Man again. I was not sure that it would work. I was kind of tired of Spider-Man being rebooted, even though it was only the second reboot, technically. He had gotten Maguire and then Garfield and now Holland. But I really liked Tom Holland's performance in this. And again, unique perspective here, doesn't make me special, but I like the Iron Man connections. I like what people make fun of this universe for. You know, like the, oh, is Iron Boy Jr. I like that connection to Tony Stark. I like how he's sort of like a legacy hero in a way, left to fill the boots of heroes that were bigger than him before him. And a lot of people say, well, there's no comic precedent for this. It's really annoying because in Civil War, he worked with Tony, but they weren't that close, and he was much older, and there was a lot of history, and I get that. But the thing is that this version of Spider-Man is also very obviously based a lot off of the Ultimate Spider-Man version in the comics. He is a young hero in the comics who idolizes the Ultimates. He idolizes those who, I guess, are bigger than him in the superhero world, and he wants to prove himself and be like them. The end of his storyline in those comics actually really, really shows that, which, if you want to read something great, Ultimate Spider-Man, the original run, so good. But with this character, I guess, going in with Tom Holland, I'm very excited to see what he does moving forward. I'm not sure if they will reference Tony Stark much anymore or not. I'm sure, Happy Hogan will be here, so they'll probably do a little bit, but it does seem like he is sort of coming into his own. He is sort of becoming that bigger hero over time. And he's taken baby steps, but I personally don't mind that. I didn't find the first Avenger to be the most interesting movie ever. I like that. I did not find the first Thor movie to be the best movie ever. I still liked it. So for me, when you have these characters developing over time, I'm personally fine with it. I think that a lot of skepticism is already from the infighting among Spider-Man fans of who likes who best. Now, my point with what I was getting to with what I grew up with was my favorite Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire. I'm not saying that I think everything is comic accurate about him. I don't. It's the same thing with Michael Keaton's Batman. That is my personal favorite Batman live action adaptation. I don't really care that he kills some people. That's how a multiverse works. There are different versions of these characters, and they can be a little different. Maybe with Spider-Man, maybe Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he's a little, not confident. He's a little bit of a squirrely guy, a little high-pitched voice, sort of, growing up over time here. Whereas Tobey Maguire, he has his own problems, but he's very clearly an established adult. And Andrew Garfield, he has his own thing too, cockiness, anger issues, stuff that he sort of starts to work out over the movies, which I wish we had gotten to see more of him, despite not liking The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Personally, I thought that he was developing well as the Spider-Man character. But the point that I'm getting to with this is people are coming in expecting different things out of this movie and really building up what they want. I've noticed Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fans, so Amazing Spider-Man fans, they're coming in like, oh man, I really hope to see a ton of Andrew Garfield. I hope to see, him shine again. I want that too. Tobey Maguire fans, they're coming in, oh man, I really hope to see a lot of Tobey Maguire. I personally want that too. Matt Murdock, I want to see that. But it's one of those things where I think people have already developed in their brain the perfect Spider-Man No Way Home movie. And I don't know how what we're going to get on screen could live up to that anyway. And that's despite the valid criticisms people have against MCU Spider-Man, because a lot of them are valid. I think that when most of your hype around your movie is people talking about how they hate your suits, they hate the Iron Spider suit, they hate the Tony Stark connections, they just want to see Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, I don't know if that's a great thing for your movie. It kind of makes me feel a little bad for Tom Holland. I understand he has his stans who never looked objectively or subjectively at all at what he did. They just ate it up. But overwhelmingly, I've noticed there is a lot of animosity and pushback to his Spider-Man due to previous interpretations. It's one reason why I hope to see the multiverse sort of come together here. With this movie, what I really want to see is the development of the relationship between MJ and Peter a little more. I actually really like them. I think that Zendaya and Tom Holland have a lot of chemistry, and they do a really, really good job on screen together. I think that they are up there, honestly, for me, with Andrew and Emma Stone, how much chemistry they had and how good they did in scenes together. So I'd really like to see more of that as well. But with this movie, I would also like to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man shine and get the resolution he wants. I don't want him to be, or deserves, I don't want him to be completely overshadowed, but I grew up with these other Spider-Men. To me, I would love to see them in this movie, and I'd love to see them in this movie for more than 5 minutes. What I don't really want to see, I guess, what would disappoint me is going into this movie and seeing Tobey and Andrew show up for 5 minutes at the end. That would be really annoying to me. I don't want to see something like that. I want to see them integrated into the plot if they're going to do that. But I also don't know how you do this well with how many characters there are already shown in the story. You're balancing storylines between, the normal MCU Peter and MJ, his Aunt May, obviously. Stephen Strange is making a heavy appearance in this, at least in a few scenes, because we see multiple scenes with him in the trailer at different locations, not just at home. We get to see him in other places as well. So I'm not sure how you'll balance all these characters. This is an issue that previous Spider-Man movies actually had. Obviously, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, due to studio interference, and Spider-Man 3, also due to studio interference, both suffered from the amount of characters they had to include and how many storylines they actually had to balance out. So it's something to me, we're already going into this, I'm hoping that there is not a lack of focus. I'm hoping that this is quality. I have liked both of the Spider-Man movies before this a lot. I didn't hate them. I don't hate this Spider-Man. I really like him. He reminds me a lot of the comics that I grew up reading of Ultimate Spider-Man. He really feels like in some ways he's pulled off the page of that. Yes, Mary Jane is different, Michelle Jones is different in this. Yes, that Tony Stark connection is different and stuff like that, but the personality of who he is, of this young kid sort of growing up over time and being immature and making mistakes and being an idiot at times, I like that. I don't want to see Doc Ock, like Alfred Molina, wasted. I don't want to see any characters from previous movies wasted. I understand that a lot of people, it's going to be enough for them that those characters show up, and that's it. And a lot of other people are going to be very upset if certain things don't happen. I feel like my bar is pretty moderately timid. I just want to see those characters, if they show up, be the versions that I grew up with on screen. And I want to see them utilized well. I want to see Molina's Doc Ock used well, not just thrown in for a cash grab. I want to see let's say the Lizard was in here from The Amazing Spider-Man, or let's say Electro, I want to see those characters used well. And I especially really want to see that with the other two Spider-Men, which I truly believe will be in this movie. I know this was a bit of a rambly video, but this is a difficult thing. I know this is just a movie, but this is a character that is really personal to a lot of people in different ways. And I think that's something that should be respected. Maybe the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, it's personal to you and connected with you in a different way. I grew up watching those movies. I grew up playing those movie games, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation 2. I still maintain that Spider-Man 3 on the PS2 is more fun than it is on the, what was at the time next gen of 360 and PS3, but I digress. I really actually was excited when Amazing Spider-Man came out, despite being disappointed Maguire wasn't around anymore. These characters mean something different to different people. There's a lot of gatekeeping with this character, a lot of, you didn't read this specific thing, you don't know who this is, or you didn't do this or that. But at the end of the day, Spider-Man fans are Spider-Man fans. This is something that should be celebrated. I think it's really cool. I hope that this movie turns out to be awesome. There are a lot of different Easter eggs and things already in the trailer that people have pointed out, which I think they've done a really good job with. I'm excited. Just throwing in old actors doesn't make the movie good, but I'm someone who has already been pleased with the previous two movies. Hey, and maybe in your opinion that means I have bad taste. That's fine, I don't care. But going into this, I'm already pretty sure that I will leave probably enjoying this. I could be wrong. This could be a Black Widow situation for me where I'm a little disappointed and wanted it to be better. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what you think. Have you noticed what I've noticed? Does it seem like a lot of people have really built up their version of this movie and are a bit unhappy or really skeptical of different things? What are your thoughts? What have been your experiences with the Spidey fandom? I'm interested in that one. It's an interesting place with a lot of different sects, opinions. So lots of stuff going on there. Hey, Thanks for watching this. I enjoyed talking about the trailer and having a fun time hanging out with you. The channel has been up and down lately, kind of been struggling, so if you are here at the end of the 15 minutes, I really appreciate you. And if you want, if you want to support us in other ways, there's a lot of ways to do that. The Patreon is down in the description, along with other ways to follow us and support our work. And maybe, you just leave a like, a comment, and tell a friend about the video. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shway.